requesting the audience to remain attentive to the course of debate. The moderator will allow you to ask questions at the end. Will explain the rules and disclose the topic of debate.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. It's truly an honor to be back in these hallowed halls, hallowed basement. I'm sure the participants and the judges are aware, but we hope this is an interactive debate after the rounds are over. So, speakers are not allowed to read out from prepared texts, and if found doing so, he or she will be penalized by judges appropriately. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak. The timekeeper will alert us at the end of the second minute, and at the end of the third minute, the speaker exceeding the time limit will be penalized appropriately. The first alert is to indicate that you have 1 minute to wind up your speech. The speakers will address the moderator only, so all eyes on me. Don't try to bribe the judges. After the speaker finishes his or her debate, he or she will be given 2 minutes for rebuttal. Opposing teams can ask short, precise questions based on the speaker's presentation. Questions only, no statements, please. In case no question is asked within 10 seconds, the competitors will be reminded to do so. If no question is still asked within the following 10 seconds, the judges will give full marks for rebuttal to the speaker. Speakers will be judged on the following criteria: content, arguments/rebuttal, appropriateness of language, delivery, and lastly, demeanor/poise and stance. The participants are seated in order of speaking, which was decided by way of picking loads. Let me now introduce the participants in the order of their stances. Proposition followed by opposition. From the Blue House, we have Parth Nayak and Prisha Singh. From the Green House, we have Aditi Suresh and Anya Roy. From the Yellow House, we have Ranit Senthil Nathan. Sorry if I got that wrong. And Vaibhavi Venkateshwara. And from the Red House, we have Anushka Gaine. Sorry if I got that wrong. And Gaurika Agarwal. The topic was given to the participants yesterday at 3 p.m., keeping in mind today's flow of events. The topic at hand is a free press safeguards democracy. Justify your views with respect to the freedom given to the press in India. Without much ado, let us begin with this much-awaited debate. All the best to one and all, and I hope the rest of you have a stimulating debate at hand. I now call upon the first speaker from the Blue House for the proposition, Parth Nayak. Debate. All the best to one more, and I hope the rest of you have a stimulating debate at hand. I now call upon the first speaker from the Blue House for the proposition, Parth Nayak.
So first of all, a very happy Independence Day to one and all. Good morning, ma'am, teachers, judges, moderator, all our fellow debaters and those in the audience. We have gathered here today with a purpose, to debate, to express. All of that we can do because we have the freedom to do so. With that in mind, I, Parth Nayak, stand here with a firm view that a free press safeguards democracy. A free press refers to a form of journalism wherein there is no fettering and the journalism by means of media, press, or journalists and newspapers is free. Firstly, let us not forget the role of the press in holding elections. In a country of well over 1 billion people, elections are a testament to our democratic spirit. The press ensures and facilitates open debate, scrutinizes candidates' policies, and ensures that voters get unbiased information. This empowers the citizens. This empowers the citizens to make an informed choice, thereby ensuring a free and fair electoral process. Well, secondly, the press keeps an eye on the government. It acts as the fourth pillar of democracy and checks for the for the possible deterioration of democratic norms and further ensures that there is no corruption. If so, it brings it to life before us. The press, if the anti-incumbency, if it happens in the future, will be made possible only and only by means of a free press. Now, in a country like ours, where extensive freedom of speech characterizes our democracy, a free press is elemental to our democracy. Restricting the freedom of such a press would mean an attack on the very rules of democracy. As a free speech absolutist, I would like to conclude by stating that the press was created for the governed, to serve the governed, not the governors. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. We now move into rebuttal. Any questions? Yeah.
You mentioned that the press is the fourth pillar of democracy. Democracy not only guarantees freedom but also equality, justice, and prevents communal hatred. So what about hate through press? How do you justify that?
See, while it guarantees free equality, it also guarantees freedom of expression. As the fourth pillar of democracy, the press should be given the right to express its views freely. Hate speech has to be, if press is given the freedom to state whatever it wants, it is also given the freedom to criticize the actions of other elements of the press itself. So any kind of hate speech can be brought forward and criticized freely. That freedom of expression also allows the press to bring forward the hate speech, thereby cooperating and thereby calling for criticism of the hate speech itself.
Any other questions?
Yes.
You said that unbiased information is provided by the media. So don't you think that press itself is done by individuals themselves and their personal biases will be reflected in the way they showcase and give out information?
Absolutely. But if there is government control on the press, then there will be absolutely no chance for it to provide unbiased information because news channels could be in the pockets of some politician for all you know. Well, this is one thing that characterizes press. Again, as you said, it is individuals. As individuals in the country, they also have the freedom to express their own views freely.
Anyone else? I think that's time. Yes. 10 seconds.
So you mentioned that there's unbiased information, as Anya rightly said. But however, those news outlets can spread fake news, which can change the attitude and beliefs of the viewers.
As far as spreading of fake news is concerned, there are laws in the Indian Penal Code and in the Constitution which hold it punishable for anybody to spread misinformation or any kind of misleading facts knowingly. Therefore, if the press makes any such and facilitates the spread of any such false information, it is punishable under the law.
Thank you, Bob. I now call upon the Speaker for Opposition from the Blue House.
We are gathered here today for one purpose, Very straightforward. Celebrating 76 years of our independence, and yet the statement arises: a free speech safeguards democracy with respect to the freedom of speech given to the press in India. I, Prasha Singh, stand firmly against the statement, which leads me to believe Rabindranath Tagore when he said, and I quote, "I would give up my rights without hesitation if I had the slightest suspicion that they were being used negatively to affect the happiness of the country." Unquote. My two arguments delineate my points. Firstly, how media nowadays prioritizes entertainment over information. And secondly, how unregulated media can lead to national security risks. First off, unregulated media has nowadays become about sensationalism over journalism due to the unregulated regulations of our country over the press. For example, imagine in 2020 you open news expecting the monotony of COVID-19, and instead you are greeted with murder or suicide. The SSR case strikes again. The SSR case was a classic example of media lack of professionalism. Falsehood flies and shoots lips behind it. It is but our responsibility to know what we should listen to and what we shouldn't. Although falsehood is definitely a bait to democracy, but then again, so is the exposure of certain true information, which leads us to my second argument, that falsehood information, although bad, Bombay in 2008. And yet, the press exposed tactics and information to the terrorists themselves, which potentially enable them to escape capture. The proposition here might say that free speech controls the government and keeps it in check. But in an unregulated media world, who's going to keep the press itself in check? We must make sure that the government and the press work together in harmony and not have ultimate power over the other. With great power comes great responsibility. And there's no power in giving someone freedom if then nobody infringes upon other people's freedom as well. Hence, I stand firmly against the statement. And instead, I state that a free press does not safeguard democracy. Instead, a well-regulated and balanced press does. Because unregulated media has put the security of the country in jeopardy, and misinformation without a check is spread due to the lack of regulations of India on the media. Thank you.
Thank you. Timekeeper response. Participants, please ask questions, no statements or no factual corrections. Strictly adhere to questions. Alright. You can start the time. Alright.
Yeah, so keeping in mind there is a self-regulatory board in India and the cancel culture of today, won't news channels refrain from putting out openly biased opinions?
Exactly. The fact that regulations exist and they help the government to make sure that the press increase their thought process before they give out random information to the public. And hence, regulation is necessary. But we must keep in mind that these regulations are now old-fashioned and don't adhere to the social media of today, spreading hate speech and misinformation over Instagram or Twitter. Moreover, the real solution today would be to form a new regulatory body initiated by the government, wherein people would be able to voice their own opinions, including representatives from media influencers as well as journalists, so that the freedom of speech remains conserved.
Sure, participant from the Red House.
So you mentioned that free press puts national security at risk, but even though free press is free, there still are certain laws for national security to be exact. So is it still rightful to say that press violates, national security? As mentioned in my speech before, yes, I do believe that national security is compromised by a completely unregulated press. The government should have a say in what the press cannot and can do. And if the press has an objection to it, they can put it forward in media regulatory bodies which can easily be set up. We need everybody's say to come into picture when it comes to media and the spread of information in the world today.
Anyone else? Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but earlier in your speech you had mentioned about a case where the media invaded the privacy of a certain celebrity, right? But it was the media who worked on it and brought justice to the case. So what do you have to say about that? Thank you for your question. I mentioned SSR case wherein the media infringed upon grieving individuals, the grieving parents of Sushant Singh Rajput. Well, I do believe that they did provide certain information, but there's information about COVID-19 that the people need to hear, information about media literacy that need to be spread out so that people know what they should listen to or what they shouldn't listen to. The cases and the criminal cases that are put in front of the police should be handled by the police themselves and only be put forth when there is actual factual information for the people of the public to hear.
That's time. Thank you, Pisha. I now call upon the first speaker from the greenhouse, Aditi Suresh, speaking for the motion.
Good morning, ma'am, respected judges, and respected moderator. Happy Independence Day. Today, I, Aditi Suresh, shall stand for the motion. Free press safeguards the democracy. Now, let me explain the motion. A free press is a type of publication that enables and allows an individual or a media outlet to express themselves and provide information without being restricted or interfered. So, free press is one of the greatest pillars of the democracy. So when we talk about a democratic country, a democratic nation is a nation where each citizen is able to raise their voices, opinions, fearlessly and freely. This is a right given to us by the Constitution. So, the free press plays an important role over here as it acts as a cornerstone, giving us information and reciprocating our opinions back to the authority. The press here holds the authority accountable for their work. In a country like India, with a population so vast, I think a free press is needed because there are many underprivileged or we can say uneducated people in the society who aren't able to express themselves properly. So for them, here, right now, the free press is still working for them. Coming to this, I would like to also add, a free press is highlighting national concerns. So recently, I'm sure everyone knows about this case. The government had decided to amend a legislature about an agricultural reform, and the farming community was totally against this. So, they were quite agitated, and our media has portrayed their concerns fabulously, making the entire nation concerned for them. And slowly, over a period of time, the legislation was pulled back, and the farmers were happy at the end of the day. So I conclude that free press goes hand in hand with democracy. We live in a democratic country, and our free press has been a substantial way to save our democracy and to save our democracy and help us speak out. So I conclude, I firmly believe that free press safeguards the democracy. Thank you.
All right, any questions? Yes, Blue House.
Thank you for your speech. You mentioned, Varun, that the press holds the country accountable, right? Well, what would you say about the press focusing on sensational gossip rather than factual information in the current world? I think when we talk about press, there are multiple media outlets for us. There are some that only focus on government authorities, as some go around becoming paparazzi. So I think it is the citizens' choice of what they want to watch, or what they want to hear, or what they want to read. It's their choice. Media is out there providing information of all sorts. So I do not think that media is just subjected to praise or fan base, but rather it's actually looking into all points and visions, right?
Yellow House.
I think you mentioned the farmers' protest in your speech and said they were portrayed fabulously by the media. But the media portrayed them as terrorists for a great part of the year. How do you justify that?
Okay, so when we talk about farmers' protest, there were two halves. One half of it was fighting for justice for farmers, and the other half, indeed, maybe some part of it, was definitely fighting against the farmers. However, I think mostly the media was for the farmers. As common people, we also stood with the farmers, and the media overcame that, and the media stood for the farmers, as I repeat this. So, in the end, I definitely think that the media did justice to them, and in a short time, the legislation was able to be withdrawn. So,
Red House.
So you mentioned that the press is a cornerstone for democracy. However, news outlets fabricate their opinions, the polls about the democracy. Doesn't it change people's opinion? And also they are being paid the biasness towards particular parties. Again, I would like to repeat this. There are multiple media outlets, and there are regulations for the media outlets too. There is a ministry meant for media, and I think it is the citizens' right to choose what they want to believe. So I do think that media should have the freedom to express whatever they think, because it's a right. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditi. I now call upon the second speaker from the greenhouse, Anya Roy.
The freedom given to the press is much more than it should be. Good morning, I, Anya Roy, stand firmly against the statement that a free press safeguards democracy. So, first of all, let's define the term. Free press refers to when the media can express their thoughts and opinions without any restriction. My entire speech will be based on three main points. Firstly, misinformation. Unregulated press can give out any information they feel like without any restrictions. This can lead into biased information being spread. So you have, just because you have opinions of the press being sent out to people does not mean it is going to be completely transparent. And will this actually help democracy? You have regular fact checks that are conducted by news channels. In 2017, an article was released by our stuff which said that according to a new fatwa, Saudi Arabian men could eat their wives if they were extremely hungry. This was clearly false, but this actually demonstrates how bad freedom of press can be and how unregulated press can spread misinformation. Lies spread faster than the truth. People tend to believe lies because it is based on their own personal biases and what they want to hear. Next, hate speech. So when you have free speech, they can express their opinions, right? So those can also be hate speeches that are delivered to them. This can potentially cause riots in the nation, but they will not be held accountable. Why? Because it is freedom of speech, right? They can say whatever they want. So freedom of speech to individuals is acceptable, but for the press, which is generally considered credible, it should not be allowed because this can spread misinformation, which can potentially be a national threat. Then you have sometimes these hate speeches can lead to international criticism because they lead to the country's credibility falling down. Then you have the security threat that comes into it. One small leak from the press can result into the entire dynamics of the crisis being changed. So in 26/11, the terrorist attack, you had the journalists covering live what was happening on the spot. This viewership was not only by the Indians but also the Pakistani terrorists themselves. So they were changing their operations according to what they were seeing, and this of course led to more casualties. Now, my concluding statement would be that I believe that freedom of speech as a sentence sounds amazing, but in reality it can never be achieved. There is not one country in this world that provides absolute free speech, and it cannot be achieved. Thank you.
Your house?
Yes, so defamation, contempt of court, and the like are already punishable under the law. So why curb the freedom of the press to express its views when it can already be penalized for any such hate speech?
So in the country where we live right now, we usually just have one, two news channels which we actually watch. So we don't have this whole wide array of information from which we select and pick out what we want. So we do not have this diverse range of information. So for that, I think that the social media should rather be used rather than the press, which is considered credible and credible site of information. Social media should be used for expressing views and not the press.
Your house?
So you mentioned that there's biased information in free press. So you are against free press and believe in controlled press. But if the press is controlled by the government who are corrupt individuals themselves, won't this controlled press be in fact more corruptive?
So it really depends on how you say who is regulating this. It does not have to be the government, does it? It can also be a board that is by the people who regulate this entire medium.
Yeah, your house?
Yeah, so you said that since news is being reported by humans, they have their own biases in. So should we not listen to any form of news or read any form of news, because as it is, people write these articles, people give us the shows that we listen to. So there should be no form of news anywhere because everyone is putting their own biases in.
So I believe that press should be based on truth and not your personal bias. Biases you can have, you can say whatever you have, whatever you want to believe in a platform like social media, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you want to share. You can share it over there because over there it is meant to share your opinions. Press on the other hand is not meant for opinions, rather than facts.
That's time. Thank you, Anya. I now call upon the first speaker from the Yellow House, speaking for the motion. Ramit.
Yes, please applaud. I give those who speak it. Imagine a world where people in power could do as they please, while the common man is unaware of the injustice that they are facing and the miseries just piled upon them. Good morning, judges, my fellow debaters, and my principal ma'am. Today I stand strongly with the motion that free press safeguards democracy. I have 3 points to illustrate why I believe so. First of all, the awareness that is spread by the press. Secondly, the protection of democracy that free press guarantees. And thirdly, the press exposes the wrongdoings of a person or a group. First of all, the awareness that the press spreads. When the people of our country are aware of the problems that go on inside, either within the government or through the actions of people of our country who we all consider idols, that leads to awareness and better decision making in the future. When people are aware, they know what to think and are able to make understandable, they are able to make informed decisions and form opinions based off of facts. Secondly, the protection of democracy that free speech guarantees. When the press is free, they are open to criticize as well as praise the working of our government. In such a case, if the government does something that is against the people, the press can freely report it and the people will know what is going wrong. When the government does something good for the country, again the press will report it and the people will know what is going right in our country. This will also help our democracy because since the democracy is based off of the people who want leaders to represent them, when you know more about your leaders, their wrongdoings, their good deeds, etc., you get to know more about who you want to vote and why you want to vote for them. Next, when you don't have free press, there is nothing that will stop the government from becoming a dictatorship. Because if the press is suppressed, how will people know what is going wrong? For example, in Manipur, the internet was stopped. And when there is a lack of awareness among the people where there is a problem, that creates more confusion and more conflict between people. Next, I would like to conclude by saying that having a free press, it protects the vision of the Constituent Assembly that laid down the rules and regulations for our country by making people aware and making sure that democracy is safeguarded. This is in an attempt to make sure that our government is for the people, from the people, and by the people. Thank you.
Greenhouse.
So you mentioned that they make the people aware of what is happening, but your news channels are not an NGO, they work on TRP. And right now the people like Bollywood news and whatever work is going on over there more than actual news and what exactly the government is doing. Don't you think regulation in the press can actually help curb this?
The press that I think you're referring to is the news channels that people watch. But as another person who said that press does not only entail TV shows, it also entails written material, it also entails articles that are written by people who are outside the country reporting on people who are inside the country. Won't this allow people who are thinking or who want to research about the problem get a broader perspective from both sides?
Your house.
Thank you for your speech. You spoke about the government being turned into a dictatorship. But so many of the journalists in the world today are being killed if they give out their information for free. So what is the purpose